Hello, and welcome to this session on the NetSuite PI removal tool, or otherwise known as the Personal Information Removal tool. The PI removal tool within NetSuite allows users with the necessary permission to remove personal information from certain fields, records, and logs. This is to address privacy regulations related to data stored within the system. Some of the fields that can be updated with the PI removal tool include first names, last names, email addresses, gender, and so on. This functionality is available from NetSuite 2019.2 for entity records, transactions, and custom records. First, to activate the PI removal tool, navigate to Setup, Company. Under Setup Tasks, go to Enable Features. Once under Enable Features, navigate to the Suite Cloud subtab. Under the Suite Cloud subtab, under Suite Builder, you will note the Remove Personal Information checkbox. Enable this checkbox. But before doing so, remember to review the Suite Cloud Terms of Service. The feature has two permissions available, which can be assigned to custom roles. Firstly, remove personal information create. This allows the user to create, edit, and delete requests for personal information. Secondly, remove personal information run. This allows the user to approve, run, and delete requests for personal information. The three main processes for the personal information removal tool is the creating of a new PI removal request, the review of the PI removal request, and the approval of the PI request to complete the action. These three processes and their steps will be explained next. To create a new PI removal request, navigate to Lists, Mass Update, Remove Personal Information. On the Personal Information Removal Request page, click New. In the record type list, you can select which record you want to remove information for. So let's, in this case, we can always also search type customer. NetSuite will load the relevant customer records available. Under the history replacement, you can add whatever text NetSuite needs to display in the history and logs when the information has been replaced. Under the records, we can also search for records, the specific records that we want to remove the information for. So I'm going to select 3 different records, and we can also say View Selected if we only want to see which records have been selected. After these records have been selected, we can also select in NetSuite which fields we want to remove the information for. So in this case, let's say we want to remove the phone, we want to remove the, let's say, email, and let's say we want to remove information for the account. Once these fields have been selected, we can go to select either whether NetSuite should remove the history and the fields or the history only. Where if workflows were applicable in this case, the workflow would have been displayed here, and any personal information related to that workflow or the history of the workflow would also be removed. To complete the request, we can click Save. A pop-up will appear saying personal information removal request has been created, and the request will appear within the list. The next step in the process is to review the PI removal request created and approve if applicable. To view the list of PI requests, the same navigation will be followed, which is Lists, Mass Update, and Remove Personal Information. Everything gets done from this screen. So, the following information is displayed for each of the PI removal requests within this screen that we are looking at. The first would be the record type column, just to show which record type is applicable in that request. The records, the amount of fields, whether workflows, a number would have been indicated if a workflow was selected, who created the request, the date it was created, the status of the current request, and then also 4 different actions. You'll note on the records that if we click on it, it'll display the internal IDs of the specific records, and it'll also show which fields that's going to have their personal information removed. The actions, just to explain a bit more on these actions, we get the make copy action, the edit action to edit any details on a current request, but this is only available if the request has not been approved. Make copy just copies the request, which can be done even after approval. Delete can also only be done before approval, but that removes the request from the list. And approve. Approving the request will process the action and remove the personal information. Once a request has been completed or approved, it will go into a pending state, and after it is completed its processing, it will go to a complete state, and then it will have the view button available. Just to show, if we click on that, it will show which records and which fields have been processed previously. Then to make a to process the request, and the next step in the process as well will be to approve the request if applicable and when the information has been reviewed. So a person or a user with a necessary role permission to actually review the personal information request will click on edit on the request, review which actions has been selected. They can close it and then click approve. As mentioned, if I click approve on the information request, it will go into a pending state. To see whether the personal information request has been completed, we can refresh our browser, and it'll say either complete, or if it was still pending, it would have said pending. After the information has been removed for that, or the status for that action has been completed, we can look at the record to see what the information will be displayed like after it has been removed. So I'm looking at one of the records that has been updated previously. Here, the title and the memo fields have been updated and the PI information has been removed. So I've processed the history as well. You'll note that the old value and the new value has changed to PI removed for both these fields. Scrolling up, if I look at the title and I look at the memo, you'll note they have also been updated. And that concludes the session on the PI information removal tool. Two important notes on this tool is that you cannot remove sublist field data from a record with this tool. Only the system notes on the sublist can be processed. So the manual process of removing the information from any sublist field still remains. And the second important note is once the approval of the information removal has been provided, the information is removed and cannot be retrieved. So please use this tool with excellent care. Thank you for watching this video, and please contact us for any assistance with your NetSuite requirements.